Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May Brahman protect us both. May Brahman bestow upon us both the fruit of knowledge. May we both obtain the energy to acquire knowledge. May what we both study reveal the truth. May we cherish no ill feeling toward each other. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. So in the Karma Yoga of Swami Vivekananda, one of the most important chapters is, by helping the world, we actually help ourselves. In this chapter, Swami Vivekananda tells us a most important practice. All the time we are using words, we are talking, we are thinking, and others are listening. Words are very, very powerful. So, how to manipulate these words so that we can only help but not hurt? At the same time, keeping in mind the idea that we help ourselves only. We are born in this world for our own purpose. I will come to that point a little bit later on. So, in my last class, I have been talking about the power of the mantras. Mantras are very specialized types of words. They could be even syllables. These are not man-made. They are the spontaneous expressions of a particular person, a holy person, who had attained a very high state of spiritual consciousness. We often notice that the words that come out of our mouth are exactly, they correspond to the thoughts or to the state of consciousness in which we are. For example, if you are angry inside, and if you utter the words, even if you put up a smile and say, I love you, somehow the other person who listens to these words, he only hears what is in your mind and not what comes out as sound. The effect is disastrous, devastating. But supposing a holy person who has all love inside, but he utters a harsh word, you rascal, what would be its effect? If a wicked man utters the word rascal, immediately our blood pressure goes up. But if Sri Ramakrishna utters that word, or if a mother utters the word towards a baby comes running and hugs. Have you noticed it? Because the baby is not hearing the sounds only. It is its whole consciousness is transformed by the effect, by the attitude of the mother. Now, by consciousness, what I mean is, what is reality for us? If this physical world is a reality for us, then we are in the state of physical consciousness. And therefore, our desires, our actions, our reactions, everything comes out of that consciousness, as though we are physical objects. Therefore, we are liable to change, to destruction. Fear comes. Have you noticed it sometimes? Supposing there is a person, a very cowardly person, and he is afraid of anybody, everybody, even a small puppy barking also he is afraid of it. Yeah, there are people like that. And they are afraid of cockroaches, they are afraid of earthworms, they are afraid of dry leaves, They are afraid of carpets. These are called phobias. Supposing such a person, he comes into the presence of a fearless person like Swami Vivekananda. And just by sitting in the presence of Vivekananda, his consciousness will be transformed, because the overpowering power of the consciousness of Swami Vivekananda, it just drowns out, lifts up, as it were, by taking the hair of the person and lifts that person up into that very high state. And such a person, when he comes out, until the effect lasts, he becomes absolutely fearless. You know, when Swamiji was in America in the last stages of the 19th century, 1890 onwards, there was a terrible economic depression. And so many people had committed suicide at that time, unable to bear the poverty. So Mary Louise Burke, who had done a lot of research, she was telling this incident, you know, so many people used to come to hear Swami Vivekananda. After hearing his talks, when they go out, they used to tell, there is nothing to fear. After all, what is there? Of course, the effect may not last for a longer time, because it is not only what we receive, but the capacity to retain also must be acquired by us. Even if someone gives a very precious gift to us, we are glad at the first moment of receiving the gift, but to be able to retain it, we need to be constantly at a higher state of consciousness. So many of them, they did not, of course, support this gift with appropriate spiritual practice. Constant spiritual practice is needed, not because we need grace every time, but to retain the grace we already have received from a higher source. Many times it so happens, it's a very practical thing I'm telling you. Many of us receive initiation from a good Swami or a good spiritual person. Initially, for a few days, we are very happy. And then you must have noticed gradually a kind of skepticism comes out. And then in the end, even they may lose completely faith, not only in the Swami, but in God also. Why? Because when they received the initiation, they were open. They approached the subject with enthusiasm, with imagination, with hope, expectancy, and they were ready. So when they received it, that helped them a lot. But then they did not maintain that capacity of fitness, has been lost slowly, because the mantra power has not been lost. What is lost is the constant practice. You may say, why did it get lost? One important reason is, there is a tendency, when we repeatedly do something, it very often ends up to be mechanical, automatic. The purpose of spiritual life is just the opposite. Everything has to be made with pure consciousness. Awareness is what Zen Buddhism calls awareness. You walk with awareness, you sit with awareness, you eat with awareness, even you dream with awareness. So if we turn everything into mechanical way, everything in our life becomes mechanical. You good morning, it becomes mechanical. And you go to office, it becomes mechanical. You try to eat food, that also becomes mechanical. Go to sleep mechanically. So you are mechanically born, mechanically grown up, mechanically cry, mechanically die. Spirituality is to make it a conscious living. Living means to be conscious. So most of us are not living. We are only dead people, because whatever we are not conscious of, to that extent we are dead people. We are like sleepwalkers. So a mantra has to be repeated with full consciousness. I will talk about this in course of time, but last class I told, is there any evidence that mantras really work? Yes, I will give you a few concrete examples. You know, there is a type of sadhana in Hinduism called tantras, tantric sadhana. A special type of scriptures with a special type of mantras. Tantras are full of these mantras. These mantras are, as I said, specialized syllables. It could be one, it could be many. So when we repeat, anyone repeats these mantras with proper faith and consciousness, very soon they reap the results of it. You may ask, how do you know? Is it something that you create? No, it is not something that you create. So I'll give you an example. Suppose you sit here and go on saying, fire, 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 fire. Do you think fire will be produced in front of you? But there is a mantra called Ram. It is a Bija mantra for fire. So Sri Ramakrishna was initiated by Bhairavi Brahmani into this tantric discipline. And he was particularly taught this mantra. You have to repeat it. Ram. It's an ordinary word. Ram. Not R-U-M. That also produces some kind of fire inside you. Repeat this mantra. You will see a wall of fire springs up in and around the person, and it protects that person from external obstacles. So when Sri Ramakrishna started repeating it, instantaneously he used to see a wall of fire protecting him from all obstacles. In Tantra, there are various such mantras for various deities. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, I had practiced all the disciplines that have been enumerated in the 64 scriptures of the Tantras, and all the results that have been specified there, I have personally experienced it. So another example would be, there is Om. Om is supposed to be one of the best syllables that is representative of God, both in his aspect of form and formlessness. And if one repeats this Om, it takes one to the source of the sound. The source of the sound is soundlessness. Soundlessness is pure consciousness, without a second. So when Sri Ramakrishna used to repeat that word, and his mind used to soar into that particular realm. There are so many mantras like that in spiritual practice. Probably some of you have read The Way of a Pilgrim. It was a Russian saint who was asked to write his biography for edification of other people. He was given Jesus Christ's mantra. Do you know what the mantra is? Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner. There are variations. Simply, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. So his guru taught him only to repeat this mantra. And he went on repeating. After some time, the mantra took hold of him. This is called mantra chaitanya. A mantra comes out alive. Mantra itself will take hold of us if we repeat it. Then we have no choice because the mantra is repeating itself. So very soon, because this man was a highly qualified spiritual aspirant, very soon this mantra had awakened itself. And when it awakens, it becomes one with the consciousness of the aspirant, and catching hold of this limited consciousness, it just pulls the man up and up until he reaches God. So this man, very soon he reached such a state of God consciousness. He saw Jesus Christ everywhere. Of course, these are mantras connected with spiritual practice, spiritual results they give. But we also want to know, are there mantras which can help us in our day-to-day life? I will give you some incidents that have been recorded in the recent books. In the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, there was one great Pandit, Pandit Gauri. And nobody could argue with him and win in any scholarly debate, because his guru had given him a mantra, Divine Mother's mantra. And when he became perfect in that mantra, whenever he used to have this kind of what is called scholarly discussions means not interfaith meeting like, they each congratulates the other. Here it is, each tries to defeat the other. So this man used it to shout, Ha re 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 re, Lambodara Janani, Kam Yahami Sharanam. He used to utter the mantra and utter loud. So some funny thing happened, One day there was such a discussion at the Dakshineswar temple garden. And this poor Pandit, that was the last he ever had any win. And he didn't win that day also. So he washes his hands. Nobody understood why he does that, and wipes his hands and repeats this mantra loudly. People thought, every scholar is thought to be a little bit cracked mentally. So, Hare Re Re Lambodar Janikamyam said. Sri Ramakrishna was there, unfortunately for him, or fortunately. As soon as the Pandit uttered, Sri Ramakrishna uttered the same mantra with double the capacity. Sri Ramakrishna's voice was a very, very powerful voice. You think he's a very soft man, very powerful voice. So as soon as Sri Ramakrishna uttered, the Pandit understood. If I cannot utter more loud than Sri Ramakrishna, I can't win this argument. So each was outdoing in shouting each other. All fellows came running. What is this? Some quarrel is going on. Mostly when two Indians go on talking, the Westerners run to see whether there is any quarrel there. So they found out these, madcaps trying to outshout each other. But they did not know what was the inner secret. Sri Ramakrishna came to know, because this man could not outshout Sri Ramakrishna, he is sure to be defeated. So this man went with a small face, and his memory did not come up at all. He lost his power. And Pandit Gauri also had this capacity. He could hold in one hand, in the left hand, about 20 kg of firewood. Can you just imagine? With the outstretched hand. You know the difference between outstretched hand and not outstretched hand? You put it something here, you can carry much more weight. You stretch out your hand and see how much weight you can carry. It's very difficult. 20 kg, and then he used to put ghee with his right hand, and he used to light it up, and he used it for 1.5 hours, 2 hours. In this blazing fire, he used it to offer oblations. What would happen to the hand? Nothing happens. He never even felt, as though he was carrying a matchbox, and there was no fire at all, no heat at all. How could he do that? That is a special power, what you call supernatural power, he had attained. So once a distressed devotee came to Holy Mother, and Holy Mother, she had her own special mantras. So she uttered a mantra, and then what she did we do not know, and she took out a bilva leaf, it's a special type of leaf, gave it to the devotee and said, take this, everything will be all right. She had done it many times, and persons who were sick, they were cured. Persons whose husbands were looking elsewhere, they came back home, and all that happened. Once a sick man came to Swami Brahmananda and requested him that please help me, I am suffering. So Swami Brahmananda took pity upon him, and he told the man, you sit here, and sat in front of him, started repeating his own mantra, japa. And very soon he went into an ecstatic type of state, and he had a vision of some kind of a divine being. So he asked, Swami Brahmananda asked, this man is suffering so much, will he be all right? And that figure replied in that vision, yes, he will be all right. And very soon after that, this person actually became relieved of the sickness. So he was relieved because Swami Brahmananda prayed to the Divine Mother on behalf of this man. Another example of in South India, there was a great saint singer called Tyagaraja. You heard his name? This Tyagaraja was a great devotee of Sri Rama. And once he was very eager to have the darshan, the vision of Sri Rama. He went to a holy man and requested him, tell me how can I have the vision of my chosen deity, Sri Rama? And the man said, you repeat Ram Nam 64 crore times. You can say about 64 million times. And Tyagaraja had tremendous faith in that. He started repeating it. When he was in his 60s or so, he completed the 64 millions of times. And the day he completed that repetition of that mantra, he had the vision of Sri Rama. This is also a spiritual this thing. Then there are also scriptures. For example, Vedic chanting. Vedas can be chanted in a particular way. Vedic chanting creates a kind of curate therapeutic value is there. And there is another scripture which is considered full of mantras. There are two in fact. One is called Chandi in Bengal. Chandi has two aspects. It is a hymn and story on the Divine Mother, but it is also considered as a mantra shastra. It's full of mantras. You just repeat this Chandi with faith and it will bring lot of good in the material world, not in the spiritual world I am taking. That also will come. Then there is another in South India which is very, very popular. It is called Lalita Sahasranama, 1,000 names of Lalita. Every Friday, ladies come and sit and do it to get prosperity, to have welfare of the family, etc. And it works. Those who do it, they get the result. So I will give you one very interesting incident. In South India, there is a monastery called Shankaracharya's monastery in Sringeri. And there was a great soul, a holy man, a monk. His name was Nrisimha Bharati. He was an expert in mantras, all sorts of mantras. So these great souls, they do worship in the morning. Afternoon, they preach Vedanta. Practically every afternoon. So in the morning, they are completely engaged in worshipping either Mother, the goddess of wisdom, Saraswati, or Lord Shiva. So many people gather there. They want to have some kind of, blessings of the Swami. After worship is over, the prasada, the sacramental food and the water, we keep water here. So it's considered to be very sacred, which is true. So many devotees come up. But in South India, one speciality is there, which is very economical also. I advocate that here also. There they don't give eatables. They give only that red powder, which you can put it here, men or women. And it is very cheap, very economical, very quick. So, many devotees come there. So once there was a special day, auspicious day, the worship was over, the Swami came out and there was a couple and one woman came to him, but her face was very sad. The Swami noticed it and told her, you wait here, I will speak with you later on. And he gave the sacramental food to all the other devotees. Then he called this lady and said, why are you so sad? And the woman said that some thief had snatched her necklace. It's not exactly necklace, what you call Mangala Sutra. It is a sign that husband is alive, and especially in India, women feel if this is snatched away, something bad will happen to their husbands. Their husband will die soon. She will become a widow. Like some superstition is there. So some thief had stolen this golden necklace from her. And naturally it is not only the value of the gold, but more she was worried that anything bad will happen to her husband. So the Swami said, do not worry, you ask your husband to come here, I will tell him something. So the husband came. So the Swami gave him a small short mantra. I don't know, don't ask me, he didn't tell me. And told him, today night, go to sleep, get up 12 o'clock at midnight, repeat this mantra 10,000 times. And as you are repeating the 10,000th time, a man would be walking in front of your cottage. Follow him, you will get your wife's necklace. And this man had tremendous faith. He started doing it. And by the time he finished, it was almost, 4:30 in the morning, which was still semi-dark. He saw a man walking like a drunkard, almost unconscious, in front of his cottage. So the husband followed. Sringeri is a small village. So very soon they were out of the village, and the man went into the fields, and some place he stood there and started to dig a little bit and then went away. So the husband went there and then he peered into it. The necklace was there and he quietly brought it back. And the same, these Swamis, they also carry what I call portable gods. In South India, there are two types of gods, portable and that is desktop and portable. Desktop means it is not movable. Constantly they will be in the temple. Portable is they just, transport. They take them. And in South India also there are curious traditions. God is married practically every day. Anybody wants to get married, they pay some money. And then in front of them, the God is remarried again and again and again. So that is portable. God is brought there with his wife and all that. And then sometimes he is taken round in a chariot, in a boat, and on a what is called palki, swing, and so many varieties of celebrations are there. So these Swamis, sometimes they go out. Practically half the year they will be out preaching. So they always carry a box in which these idols are there. And many of these idols are made up of gold and silver and other precious metals. So once it so happened that by early morning somebody came and reported the whole box of idols was stolen. And nobody knew because there were hundreds of people working there. Nobody knew who has taken. Somebody definitely had stolen because of the gold value. The Swami laughed and said, don't worry, by afternoon we will get back. So it so happened, that by afternoon one servant, he called somebody else and then took him to a tree in the compound. There was a garden. And he dug him there and said, here is your box, showed him and ran away. How did the servant, why did he show? Because the Swami was repeating a mantra, the thief who is there, he should come and do it. In this country, it would relieve police a lot of jobs if those mantras are taught. I can tell you one of my own experience here. One man came and he had lot of mental problems. He was feeling that somebody is persecuting him. I knew that it is all just mental, it's nothing real. But for that person it is very, very real. So he asked me, can you help me? I said, definitely I can help, because I know there is something which could help him. What is that? He said, every day for 40 days repeat Hanuman Chalisa for 40 days. And you will never again have this problem. And this man went and religiously every day 40 times he will repeat Hanuman Chalisa. For 40 days he did, and so far there is no more trouble that. You may say it is just, a kind of psychiatric help, whatever it is. But Hanuman Chalisa is considered to be one of the most powerful mantras. Millions of people, literally, I am not exaggerating, in India, they repeat this Hanuman Chalisa every day. Even I do it to get protected from all my devotees. So these are not things, I am not saying that because you have faith it works. No. There is something in the mantras themselves which they have the power. So here there are two types of mantras are there. Man-made mantras, which psychiatrists use, psychologists, counselors use, and mantras which have come spontaneously as a result of some holy person living a spiritual life and raising their state of consciousness, and their consciousness coagulates, as it were, and comes out in the form of certain syllables. And these mantras, irrevocably, they will raise anybody who is repeating them to the same state of consciousness. I will give you one example, the rationale of this type of mantras. Every mantra is only that comes spontaneously, intuitively. And every mantra is a condensation of the pure consciousness of particular power. Everything in this whole universe is only manifestation of power. But there are certain people who are, as it were, oceans of this power. For example, Rama, Krishna, Christ, Buddha. They are not persons. They are powerhouses. And that power is not worldly power. It is the power of the spirit. Somehow that spiritual power becomes so manifest in them. Their very bodies are not ordinary bodies. This no physicist, no laboratory can ever prove that what is the difference between the body of our ordinary human beings like ourselves and the body of a person like Sri Ramakrishna or Jesus Christ. No, they look alike, but that is made up of something very, very special. That is why we can never attain their state of consciousness. We can only have some glimpse of it. So as an example, what is the rationale of these spiritual mantras? There was this person called Ramakrishna. He was just like us as a human being, as it were, and he practiced spiritual disciplines. He raised himself up to that consciousness, and he became identified with that consciousness. He became that consciousness, so he became that mantra. But because we cannot attain that consciousness, we need a name to attain that, to have a glimpse into that consciousness. We give the name Ramakrishna. So now Ramakrishna has become a mantra. Rama has become a mantra. Krishna has become a mantra. Christ has become a mantra. This is not a man-made mantra. You just don't sit around, have a meeting and decide whether we should have CHIRST or RAMA. We will have a mantra. That will not work. Any Tom, Dick and Harry's name will not have the effect of a mantra. Because these special beings have raised themselves to that highest state of consciousness, whenever we repeat the name of any of these beings, instantaneously there is a corresponding change in our own consciousness. Of course, to bring out the full transformation of the consciousness, we need to change a lot of things. We have to think like them, we have to act like them, we have to behave like them. This is what is called imitation of Christ, imitation of Buddha. All these imitations are not meant to bring about a change of consciousness in us. They are meant to remove the obstacles so that the mantra will, unobstructed, it can manifest itself. The Vedanta philosophy is, you do not achieve anything new. Everything that you have to achieve, you can achieve, is already there as you, as a real you. It is like, Michelangelo saw a huge piece of granite, or marble piece. And unfortunately that was discarded by a big artist because there was a huge crack. So immediately Michelangelo looked at it in a creative way, as Edward Bono tells us. He started thinking, not what I want to do with this piece of marble, but what can be done with this piece of marble. So immediately he saw in it an image of a huge, David and Goliath there. They are there already. So simply he took a chisel and a hammer and removed all non-David, non-Goliath. He did not create David and Goliath. He simply removed what is obstructing their manifestation. So spiritual practice according to Vedanta is, you do not create anything new, you only remove what is obstructing your divinity, your real nature. So these mantras, they directly affect our real nature, our state of consciousness. But for the mantra to manifest equally within us, like Ramakrishna, like Christ, we have to remove the obstacles. That is, think properly, behave properly, act properly, do what is right, and the obstructions will melt away. Your true nature will manifest. This is the rationale of mantra. There are also the second type of mantras, which is also very important for us to understand in our day-to-day life and how to manipulate. What is man-made mantras? That is, you just have some good idea. They can be also called mantras. So one mantra, for example, supposing you are feeling nervous. Say, suppose you have to give a speech. I will suddenly say, you come and give a speech. You are sitting very nicely, calm and quietly. The moment I ask you to come here and sit and deliver a talk, immediately, butterflies are flying all over you. So, I tell, what is there so much? You simply tell to yourself, I am not nervous, I am very brave, and all that. You go on repeating until the idea takes over you. And one day you will not feel nervousness at all. That is the power of repetition. Does it work? Yes. The psychologists, the business people, they take advantage of the psychologists very much. Politicians are taking advantage of psychology. Business people are taking advantage of psychology. It is only the foolish religious devotees who do not take advantage of psychology. I will give a real incident of how this mantra works. Man-made mantras. Intel wanted to increase its sales. So they hired a man who was not very successful perhaps, so he was kicked out and a new man was employed. This was about 7-8 years ago. I was at that time in America and I came to know from a man who was working in this company, Intel company. So they hired a new man and they told him, your job will be retained only if you can increase the sales. So immediately he demanded, give me $500,000. I want to make a new advertisement. And they were reluctant because they didn't believe him at first. But he demanded and got the money and made that slogan. You know what is that slogan? Intel Inside. Have you seen it? Every day you see the advertisement. Within 6 months, they had nearly 800 million profits. So how did it work? This is a mantra. You think it is, just what is there? You see an advertisement, Intel Inside. Second day you see this, Intel Inside. Maybe there is something good there. Third time, Intel Inside. Oh, definitely. And some friend comes to you. I'm thinking of buying a new computer. What type of computer should I? Oh, Intel Inside. Don't buy anything else excepting Intel Inside. You don't know anything about it. But repetition of this man-made mantra has made us convinced. This simple truth is whatever we repeat, not the words, not the sounds, but the ideas. That is very important. The idea is very important. So there is a beautiful story in Panchatantra. Now, when we were young, we used to read Panchatantra as a book like Aesop's Fables. There was a Brahmin, very poor, too poor to buy a cow. So he wanted to have some milk anyway. So the only way he can get milk is by buying a goat. And he cannot even purchase a milk goat. So he can only buy one small female kid. And when it grows up, he was expecting to get. So he went to next village, bought a small female kid, and it was black, and he was carrying it to his village. It's only just 3 miles. On the way, he had to pass a little bit of jungle area. Now there were 3 rogues who wanted to eat goat's meat. Remember this story? So, these people, they made a stratagem. So they stationed themselves on his way at 1 mile apart. And then, as though he was just going casually, the poor Brahmin was coming, and this low-caste man, they're thieves, robbers. He went inside, he looked at the Brahmin, jumped and said, "My God, you are a Brahmin, and you are carrying a dog. What is this?" The Brahmin said, "You are an idiot. This is not a dog. This is a goat. Can't you see the difference?" He said, "If you are convinced it is a goat, I have nothing to say." And he went away. So this man was proceeded. After 1 mile, another man came, nicely rolling a churret. He looked. He also jumped aside and said, "My good God, you are carrying this untouchable dog." By this time, doubt was sown in the mind of the Brahmin. How could 2 people so apart, they say the same statement? Yet, 50-50. Maybe it is goat. Maybe I am right. Maybe he is wrong. So he went still. 1 mile before reaching his village, the 3rd man comes out. He jumps us and said, "My God, if you enter with this into your village, the whole village will outcast you. You are carrying a dirty dog. How don't you have eyes to distinguish what is a goat and what is a dog?" By this time, the man was 3 people at such different distances. How could they tell a lie? He threw this kid and then ran away. Immediately, this man gathered it and then went away. Power of repetition, you may think that, this is a story. No. The entire nation can change its consciousness by constant repetition. What happened in communist countries? Day in and day out, there is no God, religion is an opium. Is it a fiction? For so many years, for nearly more than 30 or 40 years, practically the whole of the nation has turned out to be atheists. And if you ask them, they are very sincere in denying the existence of God. They say, you are living in the BC, not in the AC. So you see the power of repetition. But what is important is, devotees also repeat the mantram, but they do not carry the idea. Without carrying the idea, the effect of the mantram is not so much. It will have its effect, but if we can carry the idea. So how can we help ourselves? You see, life is all about, ups and downs, duality. There will be dark, there will be light, there is life, there is death, there is good, there is evil. It is unrealistic to think that only good things will happen in this. There will be injustice, whether you like it or not. How many people suffer from this injustice, especially in this country nowadays? So we have got to accept it. Suddenly sickness may come. Suddenly some heart attack may come. Suddenly some accident may happen. Anything can happen. We have to be ready for everything. So, how do we improve ourselves? Is it right to be depressed and say, oh, the world is so bad, I am being treated so poorly? How many people suffer from unwarranted unhappiness? Just because of what? Because they are repeating this man-made mantra. I am wretched, I am miserable. One person came to me, Swami, can you teach me meditation? No, because you are an expert in meditation. I have nothing more to teach you. What do you mean by I am an expert? Say, I can tell you by looking at your face that you are repeating the mantra. I am a stupid fellow, I am an idiot, I am a depressed person. Constantly you are repeating this mantra. I can tell you by just looking at your face. You are already an expert. But I can tell you, this is not the right type of mantra. Life is full of hope. I am not saying everything you desire will be fulfilled. What I am saying is, we can be much more happy, much more creative, much better improvements all the time possible. So instead of saying, oh, it's Rama, 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 like that, and then remaining the same unhappy people, change it a little bit. Have the idea, repeat the idea. I am also a human being. I also have this opportunity. I can better my circumstances. I may not be Bill Gates, but I can get certainly better than what I am now. I can improve myself even slightest way. Go on repeating and see what happens. This is what, books, you buy the books. Power of positive thinking, they say. What is spiritual life? Spiritual life is creating positive, happy, beneficial thoughts in the mind by constant repetition. How do the devotees do it? They go on telling, I am a child of Ramakrishna, I am a devotee of Ramakrishna, I am a devotee of Christ, I am a devotee of Buddha, whatever. What is there for me to worry about so much? But why am I not changing? It's not because God is not doing anything for you. It is because you are damning your own future by entertaining negative thoughts. There is no place for negative thoughts, not only in spiritual life, in this worldly life too. But just see on the contrary, so-called so many worldly people, they do not pray to God, they do not think of God, but they are full of enthusiasm, they are full of positive ideas in their mind. I recollect a story, There in a village there were two Jews. One man went to China and he never liked any of these Jews. So he went into the restaurant, looked here and there were some people sitting there. So he called the waiter and said, are there any Jews here? Chinese understood Jews and said, yes sir, we have lots of Jews, orange juice, lemon juice, mango juice. There were two Jews. One was very devoted to God, always prayed to God. The other was, never entered into a synagogue, never took the name of God, but he was growing richer and richer and richer and richer. So when both people were about 70 years old, one day this old man called Joshua said, God, now I know I have no hope of ever becoming rich, so I am not praying for riches. But at least tell me, I have been always praying to you. Without taking your name, I never took one step. And my condition is so miserable. Whereas this man, my neighbor, never took your name. And all the worldly prosperity, happiness he is having. Why? Why is this injustice in your kingdom? And suddenly a thundering voice came. That is because, Joshua, you are so boring. So don't bore God with your all negative type of, mantra and all those things. There is a lot of truth in this. When you think of God, try to be happy, create positive thoughts. So that is, you will never find Christ anytime depressed. His teaching that as long as the bridegroom is there, the bride should have no place for misery. Have you heard about it? Sri Ramakrishna used to say, I cannot bear the faces of unhappy. I am like a happy pigeon. I used to run away from unhappy homes and families. Why? That is because, we not only, when we become miserable, we are miserable, we also influence other people. All of us have some amount of influence in our lives. That is why, especially householders, those who are having families, you should try to create positive, good, happy, creative thoughts in your mind, enthusiastic thoughts. Otherwise, you are infecting your children also. Is it not a fact? The children that are growing up in unhappy families, they are more likely to end up as cruel, as unhappy, as depressed. Is it not a fact? So you have a duty not only to make yourself happy, but it is also a duty upon you to make the surroundings, the influence. Swami Vivekananda used to say, these thoughts are eternal. Once the thought comes out of you, it doesn't die. Your body may die, but the thought will never die. It will be there, like the junk satellites that America had thrown in the in the space. It will be going on for eternity. These thoughts are roaming like ghosts. Where can we find somebody to possess? And we are like broadcasting stations, also receiving stations. So as soon as our mind attains a particular state where we are depressed, immediately all the depressing thoughts that are there, they will come and occupy you and make you more depressed, and they will never allow you to come up. It is a fact. But the other side also is true. You start thinking positive thoughts, good thoughts, and all the good thoughts, positive thoughts that are in the world, like saints, like angels, they will also come, and then they will make you go forward. So that is why those who are good, progressively they become more good, better. Those who are bad, progressively they also go bad. There is always hope in life, and age is not at all an obstruction for this. Disease is no obstruction. Even if somebody is suffering, his mind can be. Who is greater example than this? Than Sri Ramakrishna. He was suffering from cancer. But nobody ever found him in a depressed mode. So this is one of the greatest helps we can do. Spiritual practice means, Karma Yoga is one path of spiritual practice. And here, one of the things is we have to help other people. How to help other people? Many devotees used to go to Ramana Maharshi, and they used to ask him, how we want to help the world, how can we help the world? And he used to say, help yourself. By helping yourself, you are helping the world. How is it? Because you are the world. Everything is in you. This is altogether a different topic, but is absolutely true. But even from a rational point of view, that unless you have something to give, how can you give? Suppose you are poor. Can you give money to other people? Supposing you don't have knowledge. Can you give knowledge to other people? Suppose you are not healthy. Can you give health to other people? What we have, only that we can give to other people. And what is the point of giving help to people? You want to make people happy, either by money or food or medicines or advice, whatever. What is the best help we can give? If you are happy, if you are harmonious, if you are peaceful, then spontaneously the other person feels it. It is not something artificial. You cannot say, I am very happy person. Inside, you are depressed. Do you think that the people there, they do not understand it? Even a baby understands it. If you are not happy, the babies understand it. This person, parents are not happy. Many parents are foolish. They quarrel when children are not there. But in the presence of children, they pretend as though they are in great love with each other. They think that they are deceiving the children. Oh, we are very happy parents. But the children know better than the parents how unhappy their parents are. Because the words are not important. It is the character which it tells. That is very important. So to help the world, even to serve the world, we need to be in a condition we have something to give to the world. And what is that something? First, you be strong, you be positive, you be happy, you try to always be enthusiastic. And the world also will be infected with these thoughts. Then, of course, there are other ways one can serve. This is the most important point. So Swamiji goes on saying here that though we try to help the world, in reality, we are trying to help ourselves. And how is it possible? This is the subject we will take up in our next class. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.